Serete, a Bleach fandom community podcast brought to you by Destination Vacations to the one, the only, Waco Mundo. Break through the ceiling and visit the stunning desert landscape above Las Noches. The views are so heartbreakingly beautiful that it'll blow you away.
Oh, Dale.
You're welcome.
Oh, God.
Hey, folks! Starting off strong, by which I mean sad. Hi, hello, my name is Del, and today I am joined by Lethan.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
Hi.
There's a version of the how are you question that Lethan and I have kind of taken to asking each other, and so I'm a big fan of you can say how are you, but in America at least it is really common to just be like, I'm good, how are you? No matter how you're actually doing. And so I feel weird about that. And so I have a thing where I like to ask, like, oh, what's the vibe? Or like, there are a million other like way more artsy versions of that question. But I told this to Lethan like multiple months ago. And so now she tends to ask me, what color is the vibe, to say, how are you? And it just occurred to me that like a beautiful answer to that question in the context of this episode is like a very literal, like, black like my soul. But it occurred to me that like that intro had a specific vibe color to it. Like Ukiora is so that, I feel. Anyway, what color is the vibe for you today, Lethan?
I'm going to go with Ukiora's green.
Oh, that's quite nice.
I think I'm going to rock with that one. Fuck it.
I like that. I really like that.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you fare better than he did.
Yeah.
I mean, not ultimately. Like, we all end up in a space like, well, I don't know. What? Everybody dies. Good. Welcome to the Serete. Goodbye. Done.
This is how we're starting off this episode. This could be a good episode.
Yeah, it's Gemini season now. I'm feeling spicy.
Oh.
Should we get right into it?
Yeah, let's start off then with episode 272, Ichigo versus Ukiora, Conclusion. This episode begins with Renji, Chad and Rukia facing off against Rudborn, who I've wanted to call Bloodborne so many times.
Oh,
because it's in my
yeah.
notes and then scribbling it out, honestly. Rukia, however, comes up with a genius plan that involves freezing Rudborn, which is amazing because that's just totally not her skill set. And the plan takes action and she's just about to win, but then Yami comes crashing in and finishes him off for her. Bye, Rudborn, you might be missed. Anyway, the group notice that Yami be beefing up a bit, and while he's screaming about Uryu and wanting to get revenge, he continues to get bigger and angrier. A bit like my mother when I first brought a girl home. Meanwhile, on a high...
Oh, that got real!
She does not listen to this podcast, we're fine.
It's fine. Whoa!
Meanwhile, up on high, Devil Ichigo continues to pound down on Ukiora, doing some serious damage with a massive Zero. Ichigo's just about to push the sword through his neck when he's stopped by Uryu? Way to save a man's humanity, Uryu. Displaying the champion status we all know he deserves, Uryu stands his ground, claiming Ichigo will lose his humanity if he does this. And Ichigo replies by launching his Zanpakuto directly into Uryu's stomach instead. # friendship goals. Orihime finally steps in. Oh, no, wait, no, she doesn't. No, never mind, she's still sitting there crying. It's Ukiora who steps in, slashing at Ichigo and breaking his horn and some of his mask. As Ichigo returns to his human form in some of Bleach's best animated moment, Ukiora states the damage to his internal organs is permanent. The two have a lover's tiff about cutting off limbs before Ukiora begins to vanish like a Thanos snap, but has a final humane moment when he finally realises what a heart is.
Ouch. Yeah. This came first, actually. This came before Thanos. I'm now like, ooh, were they Bleach fans? Like, high-key, probably. Anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, for real, though.
Yeah, true.
Dust made you sad. You learned it here first. Anyway, in episode 273, Fury of the Shark, Halibel releases. After some tragic recap that no doubt broke the hearts of any viewers who have heart, reminding us that our favorite Bat Boy has bitten the dust, been turned to dust, whatever. After that, we rejoin Rukia, Renji, and Chad, who are getting ready to face off against a Yami who is much bigger than Chad remembers. Yami figures out that his good buddy Ulquiorra is no more, and this makes him so angry that he releases his Zanpakuto, Ira. At first, our heroes take comfort when the tattoo on Yami's shoulder is revealed. He's only the 10th Espada, and Renji, in a genuine show of strategic genius, concludes that all of them have faced more powerful Espadas before, and so there's no sense freaking out about Yami's dramatic size increase. Until Yami starts to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and the tattoo on his shoulder changes. The 1 falls away, leaving only a 0, and Yami explains that the Espada are actually ranked from 0 to 9, and that when Yami triggers this power increase, he becomes the most powerful Espada. Not to be deterred, Rukia and Renji and Chad all bust out their biggest moves, Bankai, Shikai, El Directo, La Muerte, but all to no avail. Guess we'll see how that ends later, because in what is frankly one of the most abrupt transitions I have ever seen, we are back with Halibel and Toshiro again. Toshiro, who now knows that Halibel is the 3rd ranked Espada, has already gone Bankai, and in return, Halibel releases her Zanpakuto, Tiburon, and seems to slice Toshiro's ice-encased body in half. We cut briefly to shots of Kira healing the injured Shinigami, who are shielded inside a protective barrier guarded by Captain Komamura, and we also overhear a conversation between Baragon, Omaida, and Soifone, wherein it is revealed that the Shinigami are, much to Omaida's shock, already fighting without restriction restriction seals. Shit is getting real. Halibel keeps head captain Yamamoto in her sights. She wants revenge, she says, for what he did to her Fracciones. But, much to her surprise, Toshiro returns. He'd taken the precaution of making a virtual ice image, and that is what Halibel destroyed. Toshiro is determined and tells Halibel not to underestimate their strength. This takes us into episode 274, Hitsugaya, the suicidal frozen heaven's 100 flowers funeral.
You did that so
begin, I know, right? Jeez. We begin with Baragon, actually, who still seems more interested in lecturing Soifone than inviting her, I guess. Anyway, he clarifies that each of the Espada represents an aspect of death, and in particular, he points out that Hitsugaya, still engaged with Halibel, must learn the pain of Halibel's sacrifice, because that's the element of death that she represents. Which, like, yeah, okay, sure. At the moment, what that looks like is like this big splashy battle, literally, because it's water versus ice. Toshiro, of course, can turn water into ice, and Halibel, in turn, can turn ice into water. So it kind of looks like the two are stuck in a stalemate for a hot second, or a cold second, or a hot second, or a lukewarm second. It's Halibel's choice, really. Anyway, both Halibel and Toshiro realize that if they can flood the battlefield, they can finish off their opponent. And so Halibel initiates a cascada, sending a veritable metric fuck-ton of water smashing down from the sky and into the streets, splashing through buildings and upending cars. The Hitsugaya protects himself by locking himself in a chamber of ice as he furiously thinks of his next move. And meanwhile, my 2 favorite super sleepy dads, Kyoraku and Stark, are actually starting to take things seriously. Ish, maybe a little, kind of. Kyoraku points out that neither of them is going all out, and that their battle will only really change if one of them makes a legit first move, and he invites Stark to do so. And in a surprising demonstration of agreeableness, Stark begins to charge up Acero. And then we're back with Halibel, who is hurling blasts of water at Toshiro as Toshiro swoops around the sky on these big icy wings. Halibel charges up Acero too as Toshiro struggles to find a plan that will both destroy Halibel and keep his friends on the ground safe. Toshiro traps Halibel inside a block of ice, and Halibel breaks free and lets loose another Cascada, which Toshiro blocks using his Ryusen-Ka technique, and it's just barely enough. Toshiro is on the ground, but as he stands again, facing down Halibel's claims of resolve and sacrifice, he steels himself and prepares to release his strongest attack, Yoten Hyakuso. And, yeah, we're just gonna stop things kind of in the middle of the action for a while now going forward, because we're, like, there are so many battles going on, and I get the sense that's not gonna change anytime soon.
No, I think this is us. We were on the lead up to that Aizen battle, now we know we are, aren't we?
Oh yeah, true. You know, that's so funny. I was thinking to myself, Aizen is just fully not in these 3 episodes, and I didn't miss him at all. I was like, yeah, I know that you're the reason why everyone is here, bud, but I'm really invested in these like sectioned off showdowns.
Agreed. Yeah. What I do manga and anime differences in for episode 272.
Yeah, I think that, and then we can probably do the next 2 together. I imagine that the way the manga jumps around and stuff, it's probably going to make more sense to do that. Yeah,
gosh, it really jumped around. Yeah, okay.
Oh boy, that's always a good sign, and by always I mean never.
The manga chapters for episode 272 consists of some of 351, The Lust Part 5, 352, The Lust Part 6, and 353, The Ash, as well as the very, very, very start, and I mean like the first page of 354, Heart.
Oh, okay.
It's the anime manga differences for these is there's not too many, thankfully. There's a bit of Rudborn fight padding, and anything, of course, with Renji and Chad we know is already filler from that.
Yeah.
Rukia looks a bit more scared in the anime, like she's not really sure what to do. She's a lot more confident in the manga, where she's like, yeah, mate, I'm just gonna freeze your branches because you told me what your power was, and that was kind of stupid. So she basically just goes straight into that, and then Yami comes crashing in, so.
Oh yeah. It was the most Kool-Aid Man thing we've seen in Bleach so far.
Yeah.
It was very that. It was very that.
Yeah, it was. The anime draws out some of Orihimi's flashbacks. She has a couple flashbacks in this episode, and they get drawn out by the anime. And finally, the anime shows us flashback of Ukiura asking Orihime if she's frightened. In the manga, he just asks it again. So we don't get that whole flashback of like the two of them talking. We just get Ukiura asking straight away, are you frightened? He ain't got time for flashbacks. He's disappearing.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, it just goes straight into that. So slightly flashback padding and a little bit of fight padding this episode, but nothing massive.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Considering they're wrapping up a pretty significant fight, and I don't know. I imagine they wanted to make those last moments of a character who's been around for a while.
Yes.
They wanted to make them land. Because I was thinking about that too. Like, Ukiura is somebody, I think it's the first time we've gotten a character death where we've really spent time with that character. All of the other Espada, even, we meet them or we see them very, very briefly. And then we spend a good like 3-4 episodes at most really getting to know them. But Ukiura's been around for this whole arc. Yeah.
Ukiura and Grimjow were definitely the two that got the most time with.
Right.
Ukiura especially. Right. But yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think what gives us a bit more empathy for Ukiura is that we see his curiosity when it comes to human interaction, and how Orihime is with her friends and how her friends are with her. Which makes him a bit more, dare I say it, human.
Yeah. There was a thought. Oh, yeah, which that is something that I sort of did want to talk. I mean, I know that I've mentioned, especially, I think Bleach does a better job than I ever realized. I'm really seeing it on this particular rewatch of those really blurred lines between good guy and bad guy. And the thing that really, so Ukiura's curiosity, and then I think the thing for me that makes his death the most tragic is the fact that he is right there on the cusp of finally understanding when his life and his opportunity to explore that further, should he choose, is completely taken away from him.
Yeah.
That is absolutely devastating, which is why I think it's great writing. Like, it hurts so good in that way. But if you look at this showdown between Hollified Ichigo and Ulquiorra, so the person who is, like, stabbing allies through the gut and who is, like, doing awful, scary things, like, it seemed to me okay, so, oh my gosh, I'm going in 8,000 different directions. I'm going to finish one thought and then I'll move on to the next one. I'm so bad at that. When Orihime so Uryu tries to intervene, Orihime is, like, expressing her distress, and it looks like Ichigo is about to, like, really do a number on Uryu. It looks like Orihime is getting in the way of that. So it seems to me like Orihime is kind of doing her best to protect Uryu. And then it seems to me that Hollified Ichigo was super down to, like, go through Orihime to finish off this rampage thing with Uryu. And then the person who steps in, Ulquiorra is protecting Orihime, is, I guess, how I read that intervention. There was something about him that cared about her not getting hurt. And maybe, you know, if you're really cynical, you could be like, oh yeah, because she's important for Aizen's plans and he wanted to maintain that loyalty to the end, which honestly,
he didn't.
Fine, fair.
He says Aizen had no need for her anymore, so that's not true.
Yeah. So our protagonist is about to destroy another main character who is ostensibly a friend, and if not that, then definitely an ally. And then the person who stops that is one of the most concrete, quote-unquote, bad guys that we've had for this whole entire arc.
Yes. Isn't that cool?
It's so cool!
I was really interested, actually, because my cousin walked through, and he doesn't know Bleach, he doesn't watch Bleach, he doesn't watch any anime, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
But he walked through for a vape, because he was going out, he has to come through the living room to go out the kitchen door to go out and have a vape. And when he was coming back, and this scene was literally happening, and I looked at him and I was like, you know, that way we were looking at each other, and he was watching a little bit of what was happening on the screen, and then eventually I turned to him and I was like, that's the good guy, and he was like, what? Yeah. He was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
What? I was like, yeah, that's the good guy.
Yeah.
So,
and, you know, in that moment, I suppose Ulquiorra also certainly looked more quote-unquote human. Like, you could see his whole entire face, whereas Ichigo was the hollow mask completely covers
full
that,
on,
like, expressive humanity. Yeah. The question I had for you was it's an Orihime question.
Oh, okay.
I saw this come up, and I know what my reaction to it was. So it's between Ichigo stabbing Uryu and Ulquiorra intervening. The bit where Orihime goes on that whole, it's all my fault, it's because of what I said, da 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 da. Did you have any thoughts, feelings, reactions, etc. to that?
Not really. I think part of me has made peace with Orihime's character being the way that she is. So I kind of now just take it a little bit on the chin. And I also don't think it was as bad in the manga. Like, I'm just like flicking
that was kind of right. I was like, it went on for a minute, and so it's the kind of thing that I wouldn't have been surprised if it were a sentence or two in the manga, and then the anime went, aha, we're going to do this again. Yeah,
this flashback thing is definitely more anime than manga. So Uryu comes and he's like, don't do it, Ichigo, you'll lose your humanity, and then Ichigo's like, fuck you, I'm gonna,
in my opinion, actually.
Yeah, it was so good. And then Ichigo's like, I'm gonna fucking stab you. And then Orihime's like, Uryu, no. And then Uryu goes flying. And then Ichigo notices Orihime when she screams out Uryu's name. And he remembers her shouting to help her, And then that seems to be enough. Almost like she shouts, wait, Ichigo, again. And that's just when Ulquiorra comes.
Okay, so she doesn't do this whole, like, self-flagellation routine. great, happy.
Yeah.
That's all I needed to hear.
I'm now so used to the anime just butchering Orihime's character that I don't even think I'm batting an eyelid at it anymore. I had my nose firmly pressed in his manga, and I was like, this is canon.
Yeah. I'm definitely getting to a point as I rewatch where I can pretty well pick out what the anime has decided to expand on, shall we generously say, and what's actually canon when it comes to her character. And Rukia too, a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, she does have like a little moment of like, Ichigo was just trying to protect me.
Yes, oh sure.
Yeah, but
because frankly, it's true. Like, that was the drive. That's why he was able to pop back up again. Like, his protection instincts are so strong, and that's a big part of Ichigo's character anyway. So, like, yes, correct.
Yes. Yeah. So that's, and then I see what you mean, actually. Like, in the manga, looking at the panels, like, just flipping between the pages, where Orihime's like, wait, Ichigo, and then Ukiura just comes flying back into the scene. Like, I can see, actually, it being to help Orihime as well.
Yeah, because and of course, going into this episode, having seen this before, I knew what was going to happen to Ukiura the whole time. And this Ichigo versus Ukiura, despite the fact that neither of them is a favorite character of mine, that this will remain one of my favorite fights for forever, partly because it's just fucking good, partly because the stakes are so high, and it's really well animated, both here and before Hellverse? Is that when they have the little... Is it Hellverse or is it something else?
Yes, Hellverse,
yeah, okay, alright. Oh, Hellverse is... If you treat Hellverse as completely camp, it's the best. Like, Hellverse is a camp movie. I will...
Wow.
Truly, it's so silly to me. I fucking love it for that reason. All the movies are kind of camp, TBH. Anyway, it's also because that thing of... I just, every time someone discovers something new and then they don't get the chance to live long enough to put it into practice, it absolutely destroys me emotionally. And in this moment, Ukiura, I feel it's the one instance where he maybe gets to put a little bit of it into practice, where he can acknowledge for himself, especially, we can skip forward enough now that we know about the aspects of death thing, which, by the way, so glad that we know about that now, because it means we can talk about it. So we know that Ukiura's thing is emptiness, and the idea of him having a spot inside emotionally that is then, like, full enough to care about a person, almost... so it seemed, I don't know. It's always seemed to me that it's Ukiura's way of really, really trying to express himself. Like, he's always been a person of few words anyway, but like the idea of, I don't really get this. I can't really explain it. I can't articulate it, but what I can do is put my body between you and danger. That's something. Oh, fuck, now I'm dead. But it just wrecks me.
Oh, yeah. I can see where, like, a lot of the fanfiction authors come from now with Ukiura's character, like, wanting to explore what if things had gone differently for him.
Yeah, because he's smart enough that he has curiosity. Some of the Espada have curiosity, and some of them are just like, nope, I'm kind of after my one thing. I would say most of them have curiosity, but, like, you look at somebody like Aranjero or Zamari, like, at no point did I get the sense that either of them wanted to, like, learn and grow.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've got a couple of things for this episode. No questions as such, just, like, couple little things. I've taken a note here of Uryu just chilling with a blade in him.
Yep, 100%. That's the most Uryu thing I've ever heard now that I think about it. But you're like, no, don't. I'm fine, guys.
I'm fine.
Yeah. So casual.
And also, I do have a question for you, actually. This one's kind of a question.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Did you think that Ichigo wanting to make it a fair fight, like cutting off his arm and leg, was stupid?
Yes. That's my... Yes, I did.
Yeah, me too. Okay, cool. It's a close question, but yeah.
Right. Especially... So, yeah, I also... Maybe it's because, like... that went well with Grimjow, the equal footing thing, so he was like, oh yeah, I have to do... I just think it's an example of, like, Ichigo, you're a dumb young boy.
Yeah.
And you're... It's, like...
It's not admirable, it's just stupidity.
It's not... No, it's just stubborn. You're just... There's no... I don't know what he gets out of it.
Mm-hmm. And I was thinking, even if you did that, though, you still wouldn't be on equal footing because you're still, like you said, a 15-year-old boy who's got the powers of a Shinigami, but you're still human. He is not human, and he can regenerate, and...
Well, and the notion that anybody that you're going to be up against would ever have the exact same power level as you or something. I mean, you can get pretty close, but no matter what, if you have different abilities, you're not going to be... Like, there's no such thing as exactly evenly matched.
Exactly.
There's just no way. That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Except for all of Redborn's clones, I guess. They're literally all the same.
That's true. Yeah. It's like when you can clone yourself, that's different. Yeah.
well, but even if you can clone yourself, it's not exactly the same as we saw with Xyolapro, for example. But those were stupid clones. They were dumb.
The other thing I had, actually, this was a really interesting art choice for Kubo.
Okay.
In the manga, as Ukiura is sort of fading out, Orihime gets drawn in less and less detail. And to the point that in the final panel, where he's sort of reaching out to her, she's got no eyes. And it literally ends with the words, I see, which I thought was just really cool. I'll post a picture into the chat just now so you can see what I mean. Like,
we're getting to the point where, like, I've read most of these chapters, but it's been a hot fucking second.
Yeah. You can see on the first one the detail of her outfit, and then that disappears in the second, and then by the third she's not even got eyes. And he says, I see. And she's the one missing her eyes. I just thought it was so cool.
Yeah, and I think it further because I regard that sort of as he is literally dying, so it makes sense that his vision is fading.
Yeah.
And so it just confirms that actually seeing her isn't what it's about. It's about understanding, like, inside.
The feels.
Oh, yeah.
What a shame.
Yeah, it's still, like, I know that people tend to ship the two of them. Like, that's a pretty popular ship that I've seen before. And I don't think it's ever going to be a ship for me. But there is a connection there. And it seems to me that Orihime is important to Ulquiorra. And for better or for worse, Ulquiorra is important to Orihime too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this page really shows that.
Yeah, it was really really cool to witness. See, this is where for me Kubo shines, because in this panel here, he's not even, there's no words apart from at the bottom where he just says I see, but he's telling us a whole lot with just his art. And like, show don't tell is like my big thing, and even the fact that he's got those two words at the end, I see, and Orihime's missing her eyes, it's so good. Like, the metaphorics behind it is just so cool. I love it.
It's beautiful.
Love breaking down stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yes, that was all my notes for this episode.
I just had one more, and it's why I love rewatching so much, because I'm realizing that the rewatching I'm doing here isn't for plot, because I know the plot, so I get we get to like focus in on characters and details and little moments and little vibes and relationships. So the bit, I'm backing up a little bit, but when Rukia was explaining to Redborn what she was doing and how she was using her power to freeze all of his abilities, essentially, there was just something about the way her face was, and I don't know if this is true in the manga as well or not, but the way her face was drawn and the tone of her voice, certainly in the sub, as she was speaking, and it was very practical, it was very measured, it was very, this is what I've done, and now you're fucked. And I was like, oh, that reminds me so much of Byakuya. I was like, and I don't know whether it's because she's just hot on the heels from having been saved by her brother or whatever, but I just thought it was a growth moment, and it was a kind of confidence that I don't think we've seen from her. And whether, like, Rukia and Byakuya don't have the same personality, but I like the idea that as Rukia grows, when she's like, no, fuck you, I'm proving myself, a little bit of that Kuchiki confidence might come out in a similar way. Very cool.
It comes out entirely in the manga as well. I'm going to post a little panel into the chat.
Oh,
but she
yeah,
has, like,
great. Oh, I'm so happy
got, like,
about that.
a side-on shot where she's like, you shouldn't have told
it's like
me
the way
that.
her eyes are, like, half... Yes, this is exactly what I'm thinking of. Yes.
It's very
Byakuya.
Byakuya.
So Byakuya to me.
Yeah, it is. And then literally the next panel is just Yami.
God damn it.
But yeah, she does have that.
Yeah, big Byakuya energy.
Yeah.
So, go Team Kuchiki. I'm a fan. That's all for me, though.
Yeah, that was a good point to call out, actually. Anything that involves my girl, I'm like, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I thought you might like that.
I did. I really appreciated that.
Yes, of course. My pleasure.
Right, well, I knocked together episode 273 and 274 then.
I think so. I imagine, and this is pure speculation, but at this point I think I know how this game goes. Like, there's no way that the manga didn't kind of jump, bounce, bop around over the course of these 2 episodes.
It did.
I'm sure it all...
Sorry, I was just going to say, it did it in like a weird way that we spoke about just before we started recording, where there was a battle that was happening that is cut out from the anime at this point. Like, it's going to come obviously later, but I was having to jump around the panels of that fight to find the ones for the fights we were actually in. So it felt like we were jumping between that fight, Kuraku's fight, Toshiro's fight, the fights in Hyukomundo. So there was like a lot of backwards and forwards between a lot of the pages. So yeah, there was a lot of jumping about.
Yeah, that tracks. Like, you could just tell from the way, I mean, I didn't include it in my summary because it didn't feel like it added very much, but, like, there's a little bit of Kyoraku Stark back and forth in 273, and it's like, there's no way that wasn't streamlined in the manga. Like, why would you why? That's bad. That's too much to follow as a reader. Yeah. Anyway, carry on.
Okay, yes, that will probably come up. Okay, so the episode 273 then has the rest of, or pretty much all of, chapter 354, The Heart, 355, Azul Blood Splash, and that's it, really. But because it was like, it was 2, but it's almost 2 kind of foolishy chapters for this one. The anime and manga differences for this was that the flashbacks, as Renji talks about overcoming Espada, is anime only. So again, those flashbacks are just...
Oh, god, why? So I guess the anime makes Renji smarter, and it tends to make almost everyone else dumber.
The only thing that I could think about for that, though, was like, I was like, Renji, you've never won a fight by yourself. That was the only thing that like was going through my head.
Yeah, no, I know, right? Maybe he was just thinking of Rukia. I don't know.
This is interesting, though. The entire Yami versus Renji, Chad, and Rukia fight is filler. All of it.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense, actually.
Because it literally cuts away in the manga, like it cuts away, like he gets big, he does his thing, and then it cuts away just as he's about to attack. And we don't see them again until volume 44, when Renji and Chad are just, Yes, there's obviously a lot more blood when Toshiro gets slashed in half. And there's a bit of fight padding between Tyr Haribel and Toshiro. Very light though, but just a little, like a couple of extra jabs, that kind of thing. Nothing too
they have the
massive.
same initials.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
Sorry. They do. You just realized they have the same initials.
Yeah, TH, yeah. So that was it for episode 273. Then 274 gives us chapters 356, Tyrant of Skulls, just a little bit of that one though. Chapter 357, The Colossus of Fear. And then it skips 358 entirely and goes straight to 359, The Frozen Obelisk. And the differences for this one is, again, just a little bit of Toshiro and Tyr fight padding, but not enough for it to be, like, annoying.
Like, not notable. It's as much as you'd expect.
Yes. There was a moment where Izuru was sort of healing people, and he was like, oh my god, like, I don't know, like, these guys are really hurt, blah, 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 like, what's this happening? That was all anime only.
I don't care. I love it. That's fine. Izuru.
Toshiro talking to himself about the shield of ice that he put up and all of that kind of stuff, that was all anime only, just a little bit of that padding. Kuraku and Stark, I've put flirting, scored it out and put talking. Up until the Zero, all of that's filler. That's all filler. So it's literally comes in almost at the Zero moment. Toshiro running away, I've put in quotation marks, running away, where Tear Haribel was like, is that all you're good for? That's all filler. And then we get some more of the fight being a bit fillery, where we've got Tear Haribel fires a Zero, that was filler. Toshiro worrying about the ground group, and then the giant box of ice trap, and Toshiro stopping Tear Haribel's attack, all of that was filler.
Really? The ground group thing was filler?
Yeah, they weren't that close to them.
Really?
Yeah, no, Toshiro doesn't stop an attack or anything, it literally goes straight into him summoning.
That actually does make sense, he's kind of already crossed that bridge.
Yeah. And it just like goes straight in the manga to the Black Sky moment, pretty much.
Shit.
That was it for the differences, actually.
Okay, so wonky timing stuff, but other than that, it sounds like it's just kind of, yup, people are fighting.
Yeah, yeah, summed up fight padding, yeah.
Yeah.
And you were right about the Kuraku and Stark thing. They two talking, all of that was filler, pretty much.
Well, yeah. It's right. Yup, because it's usually, if it's a character that I've ever written fic about, I've probably read most of the manga chapters where they're featured heavily, and I remember, like, this is a fight that I come back to often for several reasons, and in reading the Kyoraku versus Stark fight and the offshoots thereof, I don't remember it being something that, like, I remember it being kind of mostly straight through, so I figured, and it would make sense then to extrapolate and assume that the other fights are kind of like that also. It's just easier to keep track of.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I will admit, I appreciated the animation of Kuraku's tiny feet when we first saw him with his back. They looked really, really pathetically drawn in the anime. It made me laugh. He's a funny one, because I know I've mentioned this before, but this man is like 6'4", right? He's a very big dude, but it's so funny to me sometimes how some of the characters are drawn, and this is true in both the manga and the anime, where there is so much fabric, and these people are meant to be so strong, but then they have like stick. Like Kakashi isn't jacked, really, but he's meant to be like one of the strongest blade wielders in the whole entire Seirei. I don't know. The proportions are sort of funny.
But there's also, the flip side of it is that there's kind of an elegance to it, I feel. I don't know. Kyoraku, I like Kyoraku being covered up by all of this fabric all the time, and then I don't know, I suppose the little feet are sort of funny, but I never focus on that. I always focus on everything else, but that's a good shout. That's true.
I've got only 2 notes really for the first episode that we've spoken about. I've not got many. I've not really got many in total, actually. I think I don't really have much.
No, me neither. I don't know. This is what I sort of wasn't expecting this, but this is definitely one where it's like, and they fight.
Yeah.
And so it's cool to watch, but, and it's also, I don't know, God bless them both. I like Holly-Bell and I like Toshiro well enough. But neither of them really did anything in this fight where I'm like, wow, we need to talk about this super cool move. They're both kind of like, boom, 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 splash, splash, boom, technique, dip. They're both really direct fighters.
See, the way you describe it. The way you describe it sounds like they're fighting in a bathtub.
Oh no, I don't want that. I don't want that even one time. Oh god, oh dear.
Oh, no, I just got like visions of, like Ant-Man when he's like fighting on the train tracks and they're tiny and it's like the little train goes flying. I'm just like imagining like a bath sequence where there's like rubber ducks everywhere and they're fighting as tiny little people over this giant bath.
I just pictured like little chibis if they were both in the same preschool class. That's what I pictured. Little chibi Holly-Bell and little chibi Toshiro, both of them literally 4 years old, taking a bath with rubber duckies. That's fucking cute.
That is. Fighting over the temperature of the water.
I love very serious people who are chibified as well. That's one of my favorite things. I think it's so, it pokes fun in just the right way.
It does. Right, I had an interesting point actually. The Gentei Kaijo thing that they spoke about.
Okay, yeah, that was one thing as well for me. Yes.
It's obvious then that they mustn't feel it when it gets applied, because otherwise Omeda would know that he had it on his body.
Well, yeah.
Or unless he's just
either
oblivious.
That or Omeda is not the most self-aware person we've ever met.
Yeah, probably.
Right.
But yeah.
Well, because Soyphone knew, and granted, Soyphone is very observant, as we saw in Turn Back the Pendulum. But, yeah, I imagine it's a thing where most of them knew, and Omida was being used as an exposition stock dumb character trope thing.
I mean, if you were going to do it with anybody, Omida does make the most sense. It fits in a little bit more with his character than anybody else, I think.
Yeah, I suppose. Unless you had someone who knew what they were talking... Like, it's less exposition-y that way, I guess. Like, if you had someone credible say something like, and I don't even have another power level to increase because we've already initiated the Gentei Kaijo. Like, you could do one of those, I guess. But it would feel... There's no way to get that information out there without it feeling... shoehorned, I feel.
Yeah.
So I kind of wish they'd just said it in the beginning. Or, like, if Yamamoto had said, like, and remember, the Gentei Kaijo is already in effect.
I think, though, they could have, like...
Whatever.
They could have... I don't even think it needs said. Like, maybe for younger audience members, I need to remember Bleach isn't exactly aimed at an older audience, but, like...
Right.
Maybe it doesn't... It didn't need said for me. Like, I was already under the assumption these guys were going into this fighting at full whack. Like, I didn't think for a second they would even have Gentei Kaijo on. Like, that would just be fucking stupid. They're going up against Aizen.
Well, sure. But it made such a big difference in that initial world of the living fight. And it is important to note that part of the reason they're doing this in the first place is to protect human souls and stuff. And so the whole reason that the Gentei is in effect in the first place is that they don't want their incredible power levels to fuck up anybody else in the vicinity.
Yeah, but they're fighting in a fake Karakura.
I know, but...
They would have set up other precautions, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Probably with those pillars.
I think the clarification probably was necessary.
Okay. I think that's where the difference comes between... sort of American viewers and other Western viewers, in the sense that, like, I feel like...
just because Gentei Kaijo made such a big difference in that other fight, and it wasn't something that we knew about until... was it Rangiku, maybe? Toshiro? I don't remember.
Yeah,
but somebody was like, oh, by the way, we have this other thing that we can bust out, and it's going to make a really big difference. That kind of, like, level up thing would be very much... in the flavor and in the style of how Kubo likes to scale his fights. So it would have made sense to me if it was like, you know, Toshiro and Halibel are going at it. And then Toshiro is finally like, ugh, this is getting to be too much for me. I guess I need to request to initiate Gentei Kaijo or something. Like that wouldn't have felt out of the rhythm of Bleach for me.
Yeah, I'm always just under the assumption if you can show it and not tell it, do it.
Yeah, it's just that Gentei Kaijo is a little technical, so it's difficult to... I guess they could have just shown... Well, they can't just show the seal going away because there's no seal.
They've not got a seal on their bodies, so...
Right, exactly.
Anyway, that was my note for Gentei Kaijo. I've got Renji. I was saying, Renji sounds very confident for someone who loses or needs help with every battle he's in. That was clearly when he was talking about
that. It's like all he's got, poor guy. If he doesn't have confidence, he doesn't really have much left, unfortunately.
At least all of that was filler, though, so that's
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing that I have that really caught my eye and ear was at the very end of the episode when Toshiro is getting ready to, like, regroup and face down with Halibel again after she sliced that image in half. He says something cool that I don't think we've really seen from him yet. I don't know what they said in the dub, but he says to her, don't underestimate our strength. And he uses the plural there.
Yeah, he did with me.
So, yeah, neat. I just think, I mean, Toshiro is a pretty guarded person, and we know he cares about others, but to hear him actually, like, refer to himself as a concrete part of a group, I don't know, it felt like growth to me, and maybe he's had a bit of a a realization since all of the Aizen shit went down, since some of the Momo shit went down. I don't know. But it was very, like, he seemed even stronger because he was referring to himself as a part of something, and then also seemed to be expressing confidence in his allies and friends. So it was a cool little moment for him, I thought.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of just reminding them that we still somewhat outnumber you guys.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Yeah. And the idea of, like, because I'm sure, I don't know how much of the other captain's abilities Toshiro has even seen at this point.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point, actually. It's,
you know?
Yeah.
But so he probably, he's saying, you haven't seen our best yet. And I know that as well. Which, granted, that goes both ways. Like, it's not like Toshiro has ever seen Stark's Resurrection or anything, so he doesn't really know what his friends are up against either. But the sentiment is still nice.
Yeah, that's so true.
That's it for me, though. I don't know, man.
I have, like, the 10 causes of death aspect. I took a wee note of this one because I was kind of like...
Yeah, I forgot we're doing the episodes together. Yes, we should definitely talk about that.
Yeah,
oh my gosh. Only one of my favorite things about the Espada. Yep.
Oh, really? Okay, tell me more.
Oh, I love it. I think it's brilliant. Yes.
Okay, tell me, because that's totally different to where my mind went, so this
Wait, really?
Yeah, I thought...
Oh, I'm sort of curious to hear your take first, then.
I just thought it was shoehorned.
Really?
I just had this, like, thought in my head of, did you think Aizen just sort of came up with this because he thought it was cool at the moment, or do you think he picked each of them for that reason? He was like, I have these 10... quota and I need to meet them, so we need to go out and find people that fit these 10 attributes that we're looking for. I don't know, it felt shoehorned for me, so I'm interested to hear from you. Oh,
interesting. I had the same question about Aizen, actually, and so, of course, I'm like reverse engineering this to make sense a little bit, but I sort of don't hate the way I reverse engineered it, which is which, granted, something that we know Aizen really likes is like showing up in a place and putting his system of order there and going, this is how we do things now. He's very good at that.
This is how we do it.
Oh, man. Yeah. No, that was lovely. My mind went in 8,000 different directions. Don't worry about it. Aizen is 100%. Aizen has a fake TikTok that he just
oh my god,
There's no way he doesn't. There's no way he doesn't. Yeah. And he listens to it up full volume because he's such a dick. On public transport. Not that he would ever. He would never. Yeah. He would never take a bus. Are you kidding me?
No.
Absolutely not. No. He has a driver. For sure. I digress. So we know that Aizen, Lord of TikTok dances, is a big fan of imposing his preferred structures of order onto systems that either already exist or onto people who maybe didn't want a system in the first place. Whatever. Great. Fine. So, the idea of him going like, right, I want to have a group of numbered underlings who are powerful in order. Sure. I hear what you're saying about how it could be shoehorny, and I was like, maybe he did go out and find these people, but then the way that I've been thinking about it is it possible that each of these Espada ended up being the most 10 powerful anyway, because these 10 aspects of death, these 10 things that can lead people to die, is it because these 10 things are really the most dangerous things out there? It's not like big scary masks and teeth and claws. It's the possibility of like your mental faculties degenerating. It's the possibility of wanting so much that you lose sight of what's actually important. It's the possibility of being so lonely that you can't go on anymore. Like these 10 Espada, these 10 Arancars have achieved these ranks because by nature of who they are, it just so happens that they line up with like the 10 deadliest concepts known to person kind, humankind, soul kind, whatever.
I like it. I like the idea of it being before Aizen got a hold of them. I think that's pretty cool.
Because they were always already, like, they were who they were, right?
Yeah,
we know that,
yeah.
like, we saw, like, Grimjow's flashback, for example. like we saw that he was hell-bent on destruction and on strength and all of this well before Aizen came along, and he achieved strength because of that. And then when Aizen showed up, he probably saw that and was like, oh, wow. So I almost wonder, I don't know. It is like, it's a bit neat and tidy. I do agree with that. And it definitely mirrors the Soul Society in a way that I'm sure Aizen found satisfying. Like, oh, this squad, like, there is literally a squad that signifies despair. So, like, that's a direct
Squad
lift.
3,
You know, there's not like a, I guess there's kind of a rage squad, sort of. I think there's, I mean, sacrifice is
Probably the fourth, maybe?
debatable.
No.
Oh, I was gonna say sort of sixth-ish in a bit of a way, but I don't know.
The thing that made me think it might have been a little bit shoehorned, like, just because I was looking at the panel when I was reading the manga.
I'm trying to make it fit as well, to be fair.
Yeah, I was like trying to make it work in my head too. And the thing that I was like, because it's got Yami down for rage and then it has Aranyero down for greed, I was like, we've already seen all the greed metaphors for Yami up until this point. Like, anytime it's mentioned greed and gluttony, it's been referring to Yami, and now it just feels like he's been shoved into this rage category because all of a sudden he's angry. And Aranyero was down for greed, which kind of makes sense for Aranyero. Like, I get that, because obviously if he was just a hollow who got really powerful like that, obviously they all were, but you know what I mean, like, he was the closest to that state, I guess, and so he was constantly eating other people to get started. Like, that makes sense for me.
And to accumulate more hollows, literally. He was trying to increase those numbers,
but for me, like, Ukiura could have also fallen into solitude as well, when you think about it. And I didn't get the ecstasy thing for the gentleman with all the eyes.
Oh, intoxication is the translation that they gave in the sub. I've seen a couple for him. I've seen a version of, like, gluttony for him as well. It depends. I don't know what the original characters in the manga are.
The manga has ecstasy for him. I'm looking.
Well, in an English translation, I mean, I'm curious about what the original Japanese is. Anyway, Zomari, to me, has always been... We talked about this a bit during the fight, too. I think he's the Espada that has the least thought put into him anyway, and Kubo with Zomari was probably like, oh, shit, what's one more thing that leads to people's death? And excessive intoxication, or, like chasing that high is, I guess, the closest. Whether that's, like... drugs and alcohol, or whether that's like chasing an emotional high, like, because people can be addicted to anything that makes them feel okay. Sorry, my brain just did an absolutely cursed Bleach Has Been Hotel crossover in my head that no one asked for. Whoa.
That'd be very funny though. Could you imagine Angel Dust just slipping into that universe?
I imagined Zomari pole dancing! Nobody wants that!
Wow.
Yeah! Oh, God. Oh, man. You know it's bad when your flashback puts in Espada in literal hell and you go, I don't think so. Anyway, yeah. So, I guess what I'm saying with Zomari is, I get it, but I'm not too pressed because everything about Zomari kind of always felt shoehorned to me anyway.
Fair, yeah, fair.
Yeah. Everything else I have no trouble understanding, though. And, so something that is kind of interesting to me about, and, you know, again, we don't know Stark very well. We don't know what he can do. We haven't seen his history. There's a lot we still have to learn about Stark. But thinking about emptiness versus loneliness, it sure is interesting that Ulquiorra, as far as we know, doesn't have any fracciones and Stark does. And Stark is the loneliness guy. That's weird.
Yeah. That's interesting. I guess those two kind of do go somewhat hand in hand a little, I guess.
Yeah, they can.
I suppose your emptiness or nothingness, it says in the manga, nothingness, that could be like not having any hobbies either. Yeah,
exactly, because it seems to me that if you're lonely, then there is an ache inside. There
Yeah.
is a yearning for connection.
Because you can be
And
alone
if
but
you're
not being
empty,
lonely.
Right. And it seems to me that that's kind of how Ukiura has lived most of his life, actually. He seems to spend a lot of time either, I mean, with other people out of obligation, I suppose, but I imagine he's the kind of person that would be perfectly content to sit in an apartment all day and not see a single person and be like, yeah, like he would adjust perfectly fine to that. Because I don't get the sense that, maybe until Orihime, there was ever any desire for connection with another person.
Yeah.
It was just nothing.
I can see
He was
that.
just nothing.
I think it
And
was
Stark.
born out of a curiosity with her, wasn't it? It was like
Yeah, and
want to
curiosity
learn.
is something.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not a nothing. Yeah.
Right. So, like, loneliness at least signifies something. Loneliness is not nothing. And nothing is still difficult. Are there any of the others that you think were difficult to understand, or any others that you especially liked or didn't like?
No, Grimjow's destruction made total sense.
Oh my god, I know! Literal bull in a china shop.
Mr. Mad Scientist's
Cat in a china
madness
shop.
Made absolute sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dear Harrybell's sacrifice was interesting. I feel like we need to get to know more about her for that one to make sense.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what she has done, though. Because there was a little flashback in the anime that I remember where we actually see her bowing before Aizen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's got substantially more clothing on in that one, so she sacrificed her clothing to work for a man. I noticed that.
You saw the ending bit when Geen was like, you're not wearing very many clothes, and she goes, and so I don't have to worry about getting wet. Like, honestly? Fair? Yeah, I mean, that's... Hallibell's design is kind of a funny one, because on the one hand, like, she looks the way she looks, and I think we all know on paper, like, we know who that's for. We know, like, she's a very, very hot, busty anime woman. That's what this is. Sure. But at the same time, I don't know. I feel, and it's not just because she has this, like, rad all-female team of Fracciones either. I feel like Hallibell is the kind of person, too, who, if, like, she chooses to express herself however the fuck she wants, and she's like, what? Like, you have something to say about that? Are you gonna talk to me about the way I am dressing myself or not dressing myself? Like, I feel like she legit does what she wants.
I feel like I would agree with you if we saw it in that flashback with Aizen. See, if she was dressed the same, I'd be like, yeah, that totally makes sense. But it was Swift, actually, when I was watching it with Swift. It was her that said... oh, funny that she started working for a man and suddenly got way less clothing, and I just burst out laughing because I was like, oh my god, that's so true.
Wait, is she the only AFAB Espada?
Is she the what, sorry?
Is she the only, like,
female Espada?
Presumably,
yeah.
Like, I don't know. Now I'm thinking about, well, like, gender and hollows, and maybe it doesn't fucking matter. She's the only, like, female Espada that uses she/her pronouns.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because you've got I'm terrible with their names. You've got Zalapro. You've got...
Well, yeah, because I just feel like there is a whole world of gender fuckery with Zyle if you want to go there. Like, yeah. Yeah, but
He's
Zylapro
the only
uses...
closest one, unless you counted...
He uses the pronoun boku when he speaks, which is it's the pronoun Uryu uses, for example. It's a masculine pronoun, quote unquote. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Stark's
she
not.
is the only one.
Baragon's not. Hallibell. Yeah. Ukiura. Noitora. Oh, Noita. Oh, Nell! Fucking Nell!
Oh yeah, no. Yeah.
Yeah. That's it though.
Yeah.
Grimjow, Zamari.
Yeah, Nell
Ariero,
wasn't sexualized
Yami.
at all as soon as she became an adult. Definitely not.
Yeah, that's true. I guess the fact that it happened twice is pretty rough, huh?
It is just a little bit bitter, I won't lie. But this is, like, a caveat is anytime, like, I sit down with a female friend and we're going to watch Bleach, I always caveat it with, look, this anime is not kind to its female characters. Not all of them, but for the most part, it isn't kind to its female characters.
I do struggle to think of a female character who doesn't end up in, like, a revealing clothing position at some point.
Rukia?
Oh,
sometimes
yeah,
in the
Rukia
manga she has moments, but not, like, in the anime, really, not really.
Yeah, for the most part, that's true. For the most part, she's quite... Yeah.
I'd say Momo as well is probably one.
Yeah, That's a good point. Rukia. So I guess if you are a smaller woman that looks younger, I guess Tatsuki, but I think Kubo can't decide. Like, it's just not his deal with Tatsuki, you know?
Yeah. I mean, like...
She's also not in a whole lot of this show, but...
I think with Rukia, though, obviously that was then caveated with damsel in distress, and with... Although that's gotten better now since then, but
well,
like
and
with
Momo...
yeah.
Oh, God,
obsessive over a male. So it's a whole life dictated by male. But anyway, gender is something that... To anybody listening, we are going to be starting an Arcane podcast soon, and gender is definitely something that is going to absolutely
just drop that ball. Let's go.
We will be doing that at some point. So
other caveat: none of us have actually played League of Legends. Yes. That's not who this is for.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, it's not. And I'm not sorry.
No.
And no shade if you had. It's just, I don't know, that kind of game has never particularly appealed to me, so I never played LOL, and now we're here.
Yeah. What I would say, it's only 9 episodes long. If you want to see decently written male and female characters, go and watch Arcane.
There's so much more to love about it
There's
than that,
so much
but I will
more,
stop there
but
because we're going to have a whole nother podcast where we're going to talk about exclusively
I cannot wait.
Yeah, I'm excited as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, but hey, actually, that's fair. Like, if you have enjoyed this podcast and you want something with similar vibes, similar intention, different fandom, and a few different details that, like, we're not going to focus on exactly the same things. Like, go ahead and watch Arcane, and then listen to our yet to be named as well.
Yes.
We haven't named
that's
it,
a good
so
point. Yeah.
We'll figure out what that is.
Yeah, we'll let you know. We'll let you know on this one. We'll advertise our other one. That's what you do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. I was about to say cross-pollinating, and I actually... What's the word for that?
Crossover?
Promotion.
Yeah.
Cross-promotion.
Yeah.
Rip. Sorry.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Cross-pollination.
Anyway. Cross-pollination. No, not at all. Not at all. Not even once.
Hey, that was all the notes I had for this, so that was me. I'm done, I promise. Wait. Actually, the volume thingy.
Careful. Yes.
Nobody's volume game. I took a note of it this time. Do you want to play?
Oh, you know I do. But I usually get the poem. Are you going to
I'm giving you the poem. You have got it here.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
Take back what was lost. Blood, flesh, bone, and one more thing.
Blood, flesh, bone, and one more thing. See, this is also challenging because I know we're jumping around in these fights a lot. Baragon?
Nope.
Oh, I was thinking about bones.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
Not to be confused with boning. Sorry, I'm a child.
It's alright, you kept talking about bloody... It was something you said about Toshiro and Haribel earlier, like the way you said it, they were like going at it, and I just started giggling to myself. But anyway, right, sorry, what were you saying?
Yeah, probably. Oh, I hate that as a ship. I'm sure that's a ship.
That is a ship. It's not one that I have on my radar, but like just the way you said it, I was just like,
that's just weird. I also like Haribel reads so
much older.
Haribel reads like. Just she seems so gay to me.
Oh, I can see that 100%.
I just think she seems really gay. She
that
has a whole all-female harem. I mean, to each their own. Holly-Bell's gay in my eyes.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay. Take that flesh, blood, bone, and... Is it Holly-Bell, actually?
No, it's not.
God damn.
Take back what was lost.
Yeah, so I did say Stark, but I don't know if you heard, maybe,
no.
But that also may not be right. God damn it, what was lost? I don't know.
Think about somebody who had a massive power-up. And changed.
That could be anybody. I don't know.
Changed number.
I don't know.
Yummy.
Oh, that's annoying. Okay. Take back what was lost. Okay, fuck that. Flesh, blood, bone, and one other thing.
Yeah, it was a bit strange. That
I don't
part
like
was
that
a bit strange. The first part made sense for him, like, take back what was lost, as in he's the top spada, like he'd been treated like the Lord. Like, it kind of makes a bit sense, but the blood, flesh, bone, and one more thing was a bit strange. Unless that's just all the animals he's been eating to beef up that much, I don't know.
Oh, I guess so. That struck me as being so, like, I don't know, bone could be anybody's mask. So I guess
I agree with you, Barrigan would be
fair enough that I was like, this feels like it's an Iran car, so great. But... Oh, take back what was lost felt like I thought of Lost and I thought of Stark because loneliness, but I also Yeah. To be fair, I haven't been, like, reading the chapters straight through, so I don't really know. I have a rough idea of where we are in the plot between the previous volume ending and this one starting. But given we're jumping around so much, I don't know, whatever. And then Bone, I was thinking about Baragon because he sits on that bone throne.
Yeah.
Which is probably what Aizen calls his throne back in Las Noches too, let's be real.
Oh gosh, right, is it any more for any more
I
then?
don't think so.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, the only thing I have is something I want to talk about in a different episode once we get further into the Stark versus Kyoraku fight, actually. Cool. It's going to be more fun to talk about later, so I'm going to talk about it later.
Cool. Makes sense.
Yep. That's it, though. All right. Well, I guess if that's us for episode discussions, that brings us to our Shinigami Cup Peroxide Edition. Who wore it best this week?
Uryu. Uryu wearing Ichigo's Zanpakuto.
Ooh! Yeah. Yeah. Which is, by the way, not the first time he has worn Ichigo's Zanpakuto, if you think about it. Not just because they were like, they started off. I keep thinking about when Ichigo straps the Zanpakuto to his head. God, that's so stupid. I fucking love it. This week, who wore it best? Ulquiorra finally wearing some understanding of relationships and caring about other people and that sort of thing. Right before immediately dying. Rip! Literal rip! I'm gonna miss that bat boy.
Me too.
Best ship this week?
I actually have gone for Ulquiorra and Heart.
Hey! This week I put Toshiro and the Gote because of the way he seemed to communicate that sense of belonging when he said our strength. I thought it was very nice and it really stood out to me.
I like that.
Yeah. All right, moving on to our fandom shout-outs for the week.
Mine's is actually an AMV that I have been wanting to promote for ages, but I've had to wait until the Ichigo and Ulquiorra fight was over, because that is what it is all about. This video...
Great. There are some clutch AMVs for this fight.
So
Holy
good.
Shit.
The one in particular I'm talking about that I always come back to is over 18 million views on YouTube.
Yeah, I believe that.
And it was only released like 2 years ago. Only
Jesus.
2 years ago, over 18 million views. And it is by Abaddon Production. And it's 3 Days Grace. It's all over AMV Bleach. And I will post the link in.
Oh, man. Okay.
It's very, very well done. So yes, go and check that out. And make sure that you subscribe, because even although this person has like 18 million views on this video, they've only got 29,000 subscribers. So if you're going to go and watch this video, drop them a little like. Drop them a subscribe.
Aww. Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Mine is very, very different energy, and it's also like, I don't know, it's different for me, because it's not really characters that I tend to highlight too often. It's sort of Momo and Toshiro centric, and I guess I don't know, it's a bit Hitsuhina, but like, no, actually, it's quite Hitsuhina, but like, it's cute, so I'm like, oh, look at them, they're cute, more than like, oh boy, I love this ship, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Which I wanted to like, I guess a lot of that was filler, but like, I think, you know, those little tiny flashes of Toshiro and Momo clearly caring about each other are always nice. Also, I'm so sorry, there's a helicopter outside, and I can't do anything about it.
Hi, helicopter!
Hi, fuck you. Alright, it's gone enough now.
Sure.
So this is an artist who goes by Rain Festive on Tumblr. This first one is just very cute. Like, I just really like the way this person draws Momo, actually. It's just a little shot of Momo holding a little phone, and then she and Toshiro it seems like they could be dancing or just, you know, growing closer to each other. And then there's another one. This is gonna sound beyond PG, but it's super, super not, like, at all. I think it was like a kiss prompt kind of thing. But it's like, It's post-shower, but what that means, they are both wearing clothes and they're both like drying their hair with towels. Like it's that. It's domestic. It's completely safe for work, and it's just incredibly cute. So I'm sharing both because I couldn't pick one. I like the first Momo in the first link, but I like the whole entire vibe of the second one a lot. Like Toshiro looks a little flustered. Momo looks frickin' adorable. Just big fan.
I love it they've drawn them a little bit older as well. Like Toshiro looks a lot older than in this. Yeah, it's quite cute. I really like it.
It's very, very sweet.
It's very cute.
That's mine this week.
Yeah, I love their art style actually. Their art style
Isn't
is
it
beautiful.
cute?
Yeah, the eyes.
Yeah, it's like clearly,
it's very anime.
It's distinctly theirs, but it also, I have no doubt about who these characters are. You know?
Yeah.
It's not Kubo, but it's very, very clearly Toshiro and Momo.
Yeah. Oh, I like it. It's very cute.
It's cute, isn't it?
Yeah, it's cute. And I don't even like that shit, but yeah, it's very cute.
Exactly. It's a great piece for like, oh, I don't really ship this, but the art is so cute that you like the art.
Yeah.
Very that. All right. Anything else from you, Lethan?
No. That's me. I'm good.
Yeah, cool. Me too. You know what that means, you wonderful souls. That is the end of another episode. If you like what you heard and you want to get involved, you can find us by searching for The Seirete on Instagram and T Seirete on Twitter. Now, Ichigo and Rukia might reap souls, but we are hoping to reap some 5-star reviews, and that is where you come in. Make like our favorite orange-haired protector, and Ichi go to iTunes and Spotify to rate us and review us and make us feel like number one.
Sorry.
Whoa, you cut in weirdly, and I just completely, absolutely lost it. That wasn't your fault. No, that was Discord's fault. Make us feel like number one, yeah! And to those of you listening on YouTube, don't forget to be like Chad and give us that good thumbs up. We really appreciate it. On the next episode of the podcast, we'll be covering anime episodes 275, The Approaching Breath of Death, The King Who Rules Over Death. 276, One Hit Kill, Soy Phone Bankai, and 277, Climax, Kyoraku versus Stark. Stop that, get your head out of the gutter right now, or don't, it's all the same to me. We'll see you souls then. Till next time, bye!
Bye!